What's up, party people? It's your boy Raheem coming at you live from the 905 and the 416 here with your boy Amir. And guess what, man? It's a great time to be alive. Unless you're a mayoral candidate in Mexico. Because just in the last day, man, there's been two mayoral candidates that have been killed. And since September, about 17 in total have been killed. Elections are supposed to be in June, but the mayoral candidates keep dropping like flies all over Mexico. What in the world is going on? Well, we're going to talk about that. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about a few other topics. So, one of the things we're going to discuss is the gold heist from Pearson in Toronto. And if you guys have been following that story, that happened about a year ago, exactly almost about a year ago. And, there's been some new developments. Amir is going to touch on a few key topics there, but we'll get into that. Anyone that's been following the latest stories in Toronto involving Umar Zameer, so he was found not guilty in the death of a Toronto police officer. The verdict just came out, so we figured we'd touch on that a little bit. It's a really, if you haven't been following the story, it's a very complicated situation. It's very divisive and polarizing. I mean, either you're in one camp or the other. But anyway, we'll get into it and we'll see what you guys think. Ryan Garcia defeats Devin Haney. I know a lot of people were surprised about that. I wasn't, but we'll talk about that a little bit. Drake seems to be getting into some problems with a lot of different rappers, and it seems like it's Drake versus everybody else. He has a beef currently with Kendrick Lamar, Future, who I mean, I'm shocked with Future. Like I thought they were best buddies. And then Metro Boomin, there's J. Cole in the mix, Rick Ross is in the mix. There's a ton of other people. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I honestly just keep seeing the headlines, and I wanted to get into like what exactly was happening, why this beef started, where it started, and all that. And of course everything that is going on the world stage with Iran and Israel and Palestine, and how all of that affects us. And Joe Biden's response, man, like I don't even know what to say. Every time this guy is asked any questions, he just finds a new way to make himself look absolutely just not built for this position, man. Not built for this position. His response was, "Don't, don't, don't." So,
Does
when,
that mean don't mess with me or don't do this?
don't, sir. That's all
Fill
he
in the
said.
blanks.
That's exactly. So, let's get into the first one. Okay, so what's happening in Mexico? So basically, from what the stories point out, it looks like this has been going on for decades, right? This is nothing new. Cartels have been running Mexico. They find political personnel in different places that they sort of support, they hire, they get elected so that they can run their programs and their drug operations without any issues or challenges. So now that the elections are in June of this year, I guess what's happening is, anybody that wants to stand up, speak for the people, come out in the political sphere is getting slain down by the drug cartels, because they have their people in key places and they want to keep it that way. They don't want any outside influence, they don't want any changes, they don't want anybody coming in and doing a major overhaul of the entire situation. So the story from Al Jazeera actually reads: drug cartels have often carried out such assassination attempts in a bid to control local police or extort money from municipal governments. President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador acknowledged in early April that cartels often seek to determine who will serve as mayor, either by running their own candidates or eliminating potential rivals. They make an agreement and say, this person is going to be mayor. We don't want anyone else to register to run. And anybody who does, well, they know what to expect, he said. So the recent slayings have prompted the government to provide bodyguards for about 250 candidates, while those running for municipal positions, the most endangered, are the last in line for security. This is what happens when there is no democracy. This is what happens when a country is run amok by drug cartels. So, you know, freedom of speech is great. Freedom of speech is needed, but we also need direction. We also need the right leadership. We also need the laws in place to protect everybody, all the citizens. And, a leader like Justin Trudeau, a leader like Joe Biden is not the answer. And we've all seen that. We see the crime rate skyrocketing in Toronto, in the GTA surrounding areas. We see, the terrible foreign policies instilled by Justin Trudeau, by Joe Biden, and what that is bringing to the table. All the money that is being sent out to Ukraine, not securing your own southern border from Mexico. So all of these things basically give us a clear indication of what we need and how we should be progressing. And I think that we need to, read the writing on the wall, as they say, and heed advice from different examples around the world and not let our countries fall. We love our countries. We love Canada. We love the United States. And we want these countries to always exist so that we have a place to raise our families, our kids, ourselves, and flourish with all the amenities that are provided here. So,
Absolutely.
people, let's not lose sight of this and fight for what's right.
Yeah, man, and not just exist. The countries have to prosper as well. I mean, we have to,
Yeah.
be the change. So our generation and the generations that are coming, that are going to follow, they come in and they don't come and fight for territory and fight wars just for profitability. They come in
Yeah.
and they do what's required for for humans to all be together as one, not you're Canadian, you're Mexican, you're American, or whatever the background may be. We all are humans at the end of the day, and we all need to come together.
I'm so glad you said that, man, because with the whole war that's happening around the world with Iran, with Israel, with Palestine, like that's all it is. It's division, right?
Yeah.
Everybody, it's so much hatred. It's so much hatred towards one another. It's unbelievable. People are chanting these things out in the street: debt to America, debt to Israel, debt to this, debt to that. Why do we let it get to that extreme? Why do we let it get us there as humanity? Like, how did we ever get here? Is my question. I don't understand how we can't all learn to coexist. This is something that boggles my mind completely, and
Absolutely.
it's
Absolutely.
unbelievable because being a Muslim individual, being a Muslim man, and a proud Muslim man at that, I am absolutely, because look, what does Islam say? Islam says peace, love, prosperity, right?
Yeah.
So why are we not following this? Why are we not following this? Why are we not
Yeah, man.
following and heeding the advice that was presented and given down to us? And we continue to, engage in these arguments, these attacks, these conflicts. And the thing is that it's gotten way out of control, right? Because innocent people are getting killed. Innocent people are getting killed on both sides of the border.
Yep.
innocent
Agreed.
innocent Israelis,
Kids.
innocent Palestinians, those are the
Yep.
casualties of war.
Yep.
And it's sickening, it's saddening, man. I'm so against war in general. I know that um the US has basically become a warmongering machine, right? And they basically make, I mean, if the wars cease to exist today, for example,
Yep.
imagine
Yep.
how much money US would lose, right? Because all of these funds, all of the money that is being sent to these different countries, it's being sent through ammunition. So basically what they're doing is they're taking the money, they're reinvesting it within, building arms and ammunitions,
Yep.
with all the money that goes right back into the economy, all the jobs that it creates and everything like that. So
Yep.
it's just become this warmongering machine that, God help us all, man.
And man, I want to add something to it. You take all this money that you're putting in as an investment into making ammunitions and weapons and everything else. Yes, you're bringing more work for the local people, but you take the exact same amount of money and you put it into a good cause, healthcare, education, better lifestyle for everyday worker, everyday people that are living in the country, right? And that money will still come into the country, and it will actually benefit the country more than it's harming it. Yes, it's a short term gain for you by doing this, creating all these weapons and ammunitions, but there's no long term goal over here where this is going to make you prosper. It's
You
only
make
destroying. Go
Yeah,
ahead, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you make such a great point. You see, the reason why the average American or Canadian isn't really asking their government as to why they don't take this money and reinvest within the country to help the citizens, the tax-paying citizens that are being crushed right now, is because of the division, because of the fear mongering. It's because of the hatred that gets spewed by these same government entities and the media, because they want people to be divided. They want people to fight each other. They want so much hate within each other, so that people don't have an opportunity to think of anything else, so that people close their eyes in blind rage and follow towards one direction, the direction that they choose, and forget about everything else. And this is what we've seen time and time again, right? We've seen this in the US government happen over and over again. We're seeing this in the Canadian government. Of everything that is happening, Trudeau's been lining his pockets. The Arrive scam app and everything like that, all that scandal opening up. Like, it's unbelievable, and it is right in front of our eyes. And yet, and still, the general public, they allow themselves to get manipulated by these people. How? How do you allow yourself to get manipulated by the rhetoric that they are spewing of hatred? Right? If everybody stood up and said, "Hey, we don't want to fight. We want peace." Imagine what the world would look like.
It would be
Just
such a
imagine,
better place. Yeah,
you
man, it
know?
would be heaven on earth. That's how I see it, right? Like the work, if the entire human population became one, there's
Yeah.
no American, Russian, Canadian, Israeli, and Palestinian, whatever. Everyone becomes one. We have so much more room to grow and evolve at that point. We will not need to destroy our planet with all these burning fossil fuels. We probably will not have any poverty, any kind of financial circumstances or financial issues for anyone living on this planet.
But Amir,
And
we can learn to coexist. We don't have to be, maybe I'm misunderstanding your point. We don't have to be one nation, right? We can learn to coexist. I mean, you can have your country, we can have our
yes,
country, they can have their
yes,
country.
yes,
China can remain China, Russia remains Russia, America remains America, right? We can learn to coexist because we have coexisted. We've coexisted for as long as humanity has been around. You know what I mean? It's just that
absolutely.
these divisions, they keep getting bigger and stronger. And
Yeah, absolutely.
unfortunately, this is what's going to be the demise of mankind, because obviously the world we live in, we have these countries with nuclear, arms, nuclear power,
Yep.
and it's just a matter of time, right? Russia sitting with the largest nuclear arsenal. And if for any reason things go sideways, that's you can kiss the world goodbye.
Absolutely, man. I mean, it's not just, Russia taking over someplace or US taking over another country. It's the entire planet that will pay this price.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you look at it, you can count these individuals on your hand how many people there are that are making all these decisions,
Mhm.
for billions of people on this planet.
I came across this video on TikTok. Basically, what this lady was saying was that the top 1% control the world.
1% of the population control the world. 4% of the population are their puppets. 90% of this population is a zombie, is a sleeping zombie. And 5% are trying to wake up the zombies. The 1% make sure that the 4% stop the 5% from waking up the 90%. This is not a war between two religions. This is not an ethnic war. This is not a racist war. It's none of these. This is the oldest trick in the book. Divide and conquer. This is what war does. They create the division. They make sure you are racist. You're controlled by fear. You are breeding hate in order to divide so they can conquer. Do you know how a magician does his trick? So basically, he has a plan, and in order for him to do the trick without you noticing, he does this loud and thing here so it distracts you constantly. While this is happening, he slowly creeps up from behind to implement his magic trick, and then magic. That's exactly what the politicians do.
I think we need to get back to the basics. I think we need to learn how to coexist. I think war in any of its disgusting forms is terrible, and innocent people losing their lives, it's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. So
Absolutely.
I don't know. That's just my take.
One message we can pass to our viewers over here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, let us know, guys, what you think, where you are with this. And I know this is I guarantee you I'm going to get some hateful email, hateful remarks, because from both parties, they're going to be like, how come you're not standing up for this? How come you're standing up for that? How come you're doing this? How come you're doing that? Listen, man, I'm not doing anything. All I'm saying is we need peace. Enough with the
We
war.
need
Enough
world
with the
peace.
innocent. Enough with the innocent killing on either
Yeah.
side, right?
Yep.
Innocent
Absolutely.
people are, what is the definition of innocent? Somebody that hasn't done anything to deserve the fate that they've gotten. These are
Yep.
innocent people on both sides of the spectrum.
Yep.
I don't know, man. That's it. That's all there is to it, fellas. Catch you on the next one.